It is great that we are speaking about Scotland's place in the world on St Andrew's Day. Our nationalism has always been defined by our internationalism. It's always been about Scotland taking its place on the world stage and becoming that good global citizen. And just in the last few days, we've seen the divergence between Scotland's vision of its role in the world, wanting to reach out to other countries, wanting to be that good global citizen, and the UK government wanting to pull up the drawbridge. The disgraceful decision to abandon the commitment to 0.7% of gross domestic product for aid right at the time when the world needs it most, when it needs to see wealthy countries being prepared to show leadership and ambition. Right at that moment, the UK government slashes it, going back to the days of Thatcher's slash and burns policy on aid and international development. And that's what the Tories do, isn't it? They're not handing out they drag their heels on free school meals. They're cutting the international aid budget, taking food out of the hands of hungry children. What more do we expect from a Tory UK government? But Scotland wants no part of that. They've decided to break a 20-year cross-party consensus on the nature and purpose of international aid. And in Scotland, we've had our own perspective on that, again, on a cross-party basis, across the parties and the different groups represented in the Scottish Parliament. When the world came to Gleneagles in 2005, it wasn't just global leaders, it was civil society who marched and demanded justice. And Scotland, at that point, with support again across the Scottish Parliament, made the decision to support, using its limited funds, international brothers and sisters around the world, and not least in Malawi, a country very close to my own heart, and the heart of so many people in Scotland. Hundreds of thousands of people across the country will know schools, churches, community organisations, faith groups that have connections with their counterparts in that beautiful, warm heart of Africa. And it's something really special about the kind of grassroots connections that we've been able to make and that particularly unique relationship between the two countries. And so I hope that we go into the next Scottish Parliament election committed to maintaining our relationship, not just with Malawi, but our outward-looking vision of international development. And of course, next year, the world will come back to Scotland, maybe in a slightly different form than we expected. But Glasgow, my home city, will be hosting the UN Climate Conference, COP26. And what a huge opportunity, again, that will be to showcase our ambition for tackling climate change and for playing a role in the world as a good global citizen. We had a really ambitious announcement from Rosanna Cunningham earlier in the conference that Scotland, like all independent countries that are signed up to the Paris Agreement, have to do, like the United States is going to do once again under President Biden, Scotland will produce an indicative contribution of climate change reduction to show exactly the kind of thing we would want to do if we could be an independent signatory to the Paris Agreement and so many other important global treaties, including, of course, the Nuclear Disarmament Treaty. We as a party are 100% committed to the removal of Trident from our shores. That's one of the main reasons I and so many other people joined the Scottish National Party in the first place. Many of us joined the CND before we joined the SNP. So that's what we'll be able to do when we welcome the world next year to Scotland and to the Climate Change Conference, because independence is normal. Scotland is a normal country. We face the same challenges and we have the same opportunities as all the other independent countries in the world. So we will be that good global citizen, and people in the coming months and the coming years are definitely going to have the chance to vote for it. Thank you, Kirsten.
Thank you so much, Patrick.